You know some wins don't feel like wins. That was the mood around the San Francisco 49ers after their NFC wildcard game against the Philadelphia Eagles. On paper, it was exactly what you want in January football. A tough 23-19 road victory in a hostile environment, statement made, season still alive. But the second George Kittle went down, the entire tone of the night changed. The play itself looked routine at first. Early in the first half, Kittle did what he's done for years in Kyle Shanahan's system, found a soft spot in the coverage, made the catch, and turned upfield. But as he came down, his right leg twisted just a little wrong. You could see it in real time, that awkward plant, the way his face changed immediately. He tried to get up, then signaled for help. Within minutes, he was being helped off, and the 49ers medical staff ruled him out for the rest of the game. Later, the diagnosis everyone feared was confirmed: a torn Achilles tendon. Season over, just like that. For any player, that injury is brutal. For this team, with this tight end, at this time of year, it's a gut punch. Kittle isn't just another piece in this offense. He's one of the core pillars of what the 49ers do on both the stat sheet and in the locker room. Over his career in San Francisco, he's piled up more than 8,000 receiving yards and 52 touchdowns, numbers that put him in the conversation with the best tight ends of his era. But that doesn't even capture the full picture. Shanahan's entire run game and play action package leans heavily on Kittle. He's the rare tight end who can dominate as a receiver and as a blocker. One snap, he's pancaking a defensive end to spring a big run. The next, he's splitting out wide and beating a safety like a wideout. Losing a guy like that in the middle of a playoff run is more than just losing a target. It changes the personality of your offense. You could feel that in the stadium the moment he went down. Teammates knelt around him. Eagles players looked concerned, and the crowd, which had been loud all night, went quiet for a beat. Even as the 49ers regrouped and found a way to hang on for that 4-point win, everyone on the sideline knew what this meant. They just lost one of their emotional engines. But if you know anything about George Kittle, you also know he wasn't going to disappear quietly into the background after bad news. That's just not who he is. Not long after the final whistle, he went to Instagram and did what a lot of modern athletes do in moments like this. He spoke directly to the fans. He didn't sugarcoat it. He admitted how much it hurt, how much it sucked. But the post was still pure Kittle, raw, emotional, and somehow optimistic. He wrote, "Football sucks sometimes, but I love it." He talked about how much he loves these guys and this team, admitted he was heartbroken, and then pivoted to gratitude, saying he'd felt so much love and support from everyone reaching out. He promised, "I'll be good," and reminded everyone, "We aren't done yet." One detail he singled out said a lot about the 49ers culture. He mentioned that the first person waiting for him in the locker room was the team owner. For Kittle, that was proof that he's in a special place. When your owner is the first one there when you've just been told your season's over, that hits different. It tells you how valued you are and how personal this is for the entire organization. That post spread quickly, and it wasn't just 49ers fans dropping comments. The injury news and his response drew reactions from across the sports world, including one that really stood out: Caitlin Clark. If you follow women's basketball, you know Caitlin Clark isn't just a WNBA star. She's one of the faces of the sport right now, a scoring and playmaking force that drew massive audiences in college and carried that momentum into the pros. And like Kittle, she has deep roots in Iowa. He played his college ball for the Hawkeyes. She became a legend there. That shared background has created a natural connection between them and between their fan bases. So when she posted about his injury, it meant something. On Instagram, Clark told Kittle, "You're going to be back better than ever. We are proud of you." It was short but powerful. That "we" wasn't just about her. It felt like it represented Iowa, the Hawkeyes community, and athletes across sports who respect the way Kittle plays the game. You don't always see that kind of cross-sports support highlighted, but it matters. A WNBA star taking a moment during her own grind to tell an NFL player she believes in his comeback sends a clear message about how closely athletes are watching each other. They understand the grind, the risk, the emotional toll. They know what an Achilles injury means, how long the rehab is, how lonely that process can feel. Inside the 49ers locker room, the reaction was even more emotional and more detailed because these are the people who see Kittle every day, in meetings, in the weight room, on the practice field. Running back Christian McCaffrey, another superstar on this roster, tried to put into words what Kittle represents to this team. He pointed out that the 49ers have carried the character of George Kittle throughout the entire year, calling him the heart and soul of this team. For McCaffrey, losing Kittle doesn't mean his presence disappears. He said that when you lose a leader like that, you never really lose him because his presence is still in this locker room. His energy is still here. It's a powerful way to frame what comes next. Kittle may not be suiting up, but the standard he set, the effort, the physicality, the joy he plays with, is still something the rest of the roster can channel. That's especially important because of when this happened. This isn't week 3, this isn't preseason, this is the playoffs. Every game is an elimination game now, and every opponent is good enough to beat you if you're not locked in. Kittle's role in Shanahan's scheme isn't something you can fully replace with one player. The coaches will adjust, spread his snaps among other tight ends, lean more on certain formations, but from a mentality standpoint, it falls on veterans like McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, and Fred Warner to make sure the locker room doesn't sag under the weight of this loss. And you get the sense that knowing Kittle is still around, in meetings, on the sideline when he's able, in group chats, will help. Based on his message, he's not about to disappear or sulk. "I'll be good," he told everyone. "We aren't done yet." That sounds like a guy already deciding he's going to be present for whatever run they can still put together without him. It's also worth zooming out a bit to understand just how much Kittle is meant to this franchise beyond the numbers. Since he arrived in San Francisco, he's been one of the faces of this era of 49ers football. Yes, his stats are elite, but it's the way he plays that people talk about. He blocks like an offensive lineman and celebrates like a wide receiver. He loves physical contact, he loves the grind, and he clearly loves his teammates. Plays like his legendary catch and run against the Saints a few years ago, where he dragged multiple defenders down the sideline with his face mask being yanked, captured that perfectly. That's the image a lot of fans had in their heads when they heard torn Achilles. The idea that that same guy was lying on the turf in Philly, unable to put weight on his leg, hit hard. An Achilles tear, especially for a player who relies so much on explosive power and leverage, is no small injury. Recovery can take many months, and there are no guarantees about when a player will feel like himself again. But modern sports medicine has come a long way, and we've seen plenty of athletes in both the NFL and the WNBA come back strong from this exact injury. The combination of Kittle's work ethic and the support system around him in San Francisco and back home in Iowa is why so many people, like Caitlin Clark, are confident he'll return at a high level. For 49ers fans, seeing that bond with Clark is something to hang on to in a tough moment. It's proof that what Kittle does has resonated beyond one locker room or one fan base. When someone who's fighting her own battles in a different league makes time to lift him up publicly, it tells you his impact is bigger than the game that just ended. On the field, the challenge now is brutal but simple. Keep winning without one of your best players. Shanahan and his staff will have to lean harder into the depth pieces at tight end, maybe tweak some of the run game concepts that depended on Kittle's unique blocking. Quarterback Brock Purdy will have to build even more chemistry with other pass catchers. Opponents will surely test the middle of the field, where Kittle usually does so much damage. Off the field, it's about turning Kittle's loss into motivation, not a mental anchor. That's what McCaffrey was getting at. This team has prided itself on tough, unselfish, physical football all year, and a lot of that identity is tied directly to number 85. If they can keep playing with that same edge and energy, they'll feel like he's still out there with them, even if he's in sweats on the sideline or watching from home. Moments like this also highlight something fans sometimes forget. For all the money and fame, injuries like this are real life for players. In one awkward landing, a year changes. Rehab becomes the job. The season becomes something you watch instead of something you lead. Kittle's initial post shows he felt that heartbreak immediately, but it also shows why he's so widely respected. He acknowledged the pain, but he didn't get stuck there. He went straight to love, gratitude, and commitment to the team. That's the same attitude you see in the comment from Caitlin Clark and in the words from Christian McCaffrey. It's why the reaction to this injury has crossed team lines, league lines, and even sport lines.
Everyone who's ever put on a uniform at a high level understands what it means to lose a year to a torn Achilles. They also understand what it means to fight your way back. So yes, the headline from that wildcard game could have just been 49ers knock off Eagles 23-19 on the road. But in reality, the story is more complicated. It's a big playoff win wrapped around a devastating loss. It's George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in football and one of the emotional leaders of this team, being told his season is over and immediately responding with love for football, love for his teammates, and a promise that he'll be back. It's Caitlin Clark, an Iowa great turned WNBA star, taking a moment to tell him and the world that she believes in his comeback. It's Christian McCaffrey reminding everyone that Kittle's heart and soul still lives in that locker room, even if he's not running routes on Sunday. And for the 49ers, it's a test. Can they keep their Super Bowl hopes alive without one of their most important pieces? Can they carry the standard Kittle helped set all the way through January? We'll see. What's already clear is that George Kittle's impact on this team and on fans goes way beyond one torn tendon. And if the reactions from his teammates and fellow athletes are any sign, a lot of people are ready to see what his better than ever looks like when he finally gets back on the field.